Didier, thanks for coming. Please have a seat.
Mr. Paulson, good to see you again.
So, I just want to touch base with you and know how the Vigilance project is going. How are you finding working with the sub-teams?
It's been going well. We're making progress and the teams have been working well together.
Okay. You know, it can be challenging to manage two teams equally, especially coming from a team where you know everyone and a team that you don't know everyone. So how have you handled this challenge? How has it been making decisions across the globe?
I'm aware that this challenge has been challenging for my predecessors in the past, but I found the challenge quite enjoyable and dealt with the task at hand.
Okay. So, you know, I was told that the cross-cultural workshop didn't take place. So why was that? Did you feel it was unnecessary?
Senior management actually felt that it was unnecessary, and I was actually quite in favor of the workshop.
Oh, really? You know, there must be some discrepancy here. Senior management actually told me that it was you who cancelled the workshop. Is it possible that this was your decision?
Oh, really? There must have been some kind of misunderstanding.
You know, in the past it has been noted that you tend to be autocratic in your decision making. Do you think this sometimes overrides your practicality?
I acknowledge where you're coming from, but I was not confident in Valmed's capabilities and believed that this was the best plan of action at the time.
Do you think the teams feel that they are both giving equal input, and are they?
Although there has been significant input from both sides, I've worked extensively with Farmco's team and so trust their capabilities. This has made the input more valuable to the overall team.
You know, Didier, there have been some concerns raised about your leadership skills, particularly from the team in South Africa. They feel they're not included in the decision making and that their input isn't valued and their perspectives have not been considered. As a result, they no longer feel enthusiastic about the new project and about just participating in general. On the other hand, you tell me all is well, so I'm not sure how to proceed.
I was unaware of this, Mr. Paulson. As far as I know, the teams have been treated equally and everyone has been informed of the decisions.
But you know, I would think that besides informing, they should also be included in the making of those decisions, not just informed, eh? What is your opinion on the former Valmed team, your new team members?
The former Valmed team does show potential, but they lacks an element of respect. It seems that they think that we are on an equal standing, when in fact I am the project manager. I do try and involve him in the team decisions, but it is not always feasible due to time constraints. And as the project manager, I take the responsibility into my own hands.
You know, Didier, have you considered there are other factors at play here, in that these team members have a different culture and background to you?
I'm aware of these factors, but it is necessary for the members to adapt to the Farmco's way of doing business if they wish to succeed at this company.
But Didier, you do know this was a merger, right? Not a takeover.
I suppose, technically speaking.
Look, I need you to be more accommodating so that all employees are happy and working to their full potential. Didier, I think a meeting with Lungelo, Marlene, and Karine is in order. Please make the necessary arrangements.
I'll see to it.
Lance took an approach of trying to gain an understanding of Didier's management and the purpose for his past decisions. It was an avoiding approach, and Lance tended to sidestep the issues instead of dealing with them directly. Lance has profiled Didier, who has been known to deny responsibility for decisions that he's made that have made others upset or they haven't agreed with, or that has caused some kind of controversy in the group. For example, the workshop that Didier cancelled and people then complained about, he then denied cancelling. Didier's attitude on entering the meeting could perhaps be described as between unconvertible and floating. We could sense Didier's inconvertibility throughout the dialogue. Lance was communicating with him in a way to try and get information out of him, and also to try and give him appropriate information in order to convert him and make him see how he's been managing the project not so well. And he's also tried to create a comfortable space where Didier could explain his actions without Lance being accusatory. In hindsight, Lance should have taken a collaborative approach when he was dealing with Didier so that they could find an agreeable solution for both parties and fully satisfy the team's concerns.
Lance was not quick to confront Didier in the conversation, but instead he was willing to understand the situation that were presented before him. This allows for an effective means of communication as Didier is more comfortable with communicating the problem that he may be experiencing throughout the whole situation, so it must be effectively resolved. This was particularly good because Lance started by asking Didier how the team is working together, and he introduced the complaints that the South African team as well as other team members had. Lance didn't use direct words such as calling Didier a liar when he told him the false information regarding the cancellation of the workshop. This approach awarded Lance an opportunity to understand what was happening in the situation instead of quickly jumping into conclusions. It also prevented an argument from resulting, as this would have angered Didier, which would have left the conversation not being resolved effectively. Lance also tries to offer help in Didier's situation initially before actually jumping into conclusions. This produces space which allows for effective collaboration within the leaders, which also allows for any other problem to be resolved in the future if any does actually occur.
Lance and Didier may have shown a few good and constructive aspects of communication, but there are many areas for improvement in the conversation between Lance and Didier. Didier should have viewed the criticism of his leadership skills as a chance to improve on his leadership skills between the French and the South African team. Instead, he defended himself and did not own up to his own faults. By him taking note of the criticism, he will find ways to work on his faults, and this will actively help manage negative conflicts displayed by the South African group. Didier should have shown more vulnerability and be honest to Lance, as it creates a relationship of trust between them. This will help Lance to understand and help the situation, but rather Didier's communication was autocratic with Lance. Honesty and trust will help develop a better relationship between the two, which will help them to create better and cohesive solutions to improving the team's dynamics. Lance and Didier need to communicate constructively, rather than Lance accusing Didier of cancelling the workshop and not including the South African team members in the conversation and decision making. He should have been concentrating on more positive ways to improve the situation. Lance needed to talk more effectively to Didier rather than focusing on Didier's problems, rather focus on the whole problem at hand. So when Lance said, in the past, it has been noted that you tend to be autocratic in your decision making, perhaps this overrode your practicality of the matter. Lance should have said, what can I do to help your autocratic style of decision making so we can help create more practical solutions? The tone of voice used by Lance was harsh and critical of Didier's actions, whereas if Lance used a less harsh tone and a rather more understanding and encouraging tone, Didier may have been more comfortable with opening up about what he honestly feels about the problem. Lance should have encouraged more communication between him and Didier by drawing more information out of Didier rather than just moving on to the next topic of issue. Additionally to this topic, instead of Lance moving on, he should have said, I hear your point. This has shown that taking in Didier's opinion into consideration, but there has been an evident decrease in the team's cohesion as the South African team are improving as well. So it helps Lance to understand and Didier to understand the problem. Didier should have taken a more active listening approach by asking questions to clarify what exactly he is doing wrong, showing he is actively wanting to resolve the conflict. He could have done this by nodding to show he was understanding about what Lance was talking about. He should have also suspended judgment and show empathy by saying, I understand where you're coming from, but I have not been experiencing the same issues and no one has raised these issues with me until now. Overall, by rephrasing the tone of the voice, actively engaging in the conversation and being honest, a more constructive conversation how to address the issues experienced in the Vigilance project should have been resolved or discussed to improve team cohesion and understanding.